Hello everybody, welcome to Wise Words with Teacher Nick coming to you from sunny Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So today I thought rather than making a sort of teaching video, I would make more of a sort of information video about how to get into this job, English teaching. And give you a bit of background about my story and how I became an English teacher and how I got into this job. And hopefully anybody out there who's watching who wants to try it out, try TEFL out, at least for a while, maybe not as a long-term career, but to give it a go. You might see it as a good way of seeing the world, or living in a different country, learning a new language, things like that. Hopefully, this will be of interest to you, and you might get some ideas about where to start and how to get into the industry. So basically, I became a TEFL teacher in 2006. So after I graduated university, I went straight to Spain to do my CELTA course. CELTA is a Certificate of English Language Teaching to Adults. And there are other courses out there that you can take, but this one is probably the most well regarded and widely recognized one. It's a 4-week course, basically designed to give you the basics on how to teach English. There's a bit of classroom observation, theory, a few written assignments, I believe. And so that will kind of gets you on your way. And so I went to Madrid to do that after I graduated from university. And so that was good. It's a 4-week course. So I lived in a little apartment in the north of Spain, in the north of Madrid, with a couple of the other people on the course, and we did some studying, but we also did lots of going out and having fun, because we were all in a new city and we were all quite young, and we all wanted to experience what it was like to live in one of the best cities in Europe, in my opinion. So a lot of wine, a lot of late nights, but also a lot of fun, and the course flew by, and before I knew it, I had my CELTA certificate, which let me start my TEFL career. And that's where I began. So I actually started working for the same school where I did my CELTA. They had a couple of openings, so they gave me a few hours to start with, and I was teaching adults, which I had done on the course. There was a lot of sort of practical element of the course where you had to practice teaching to adults. But of course, TEFL being TEFL, a huge percentage of the students at that school were young learners or kids, so I got thrown into teaching kids straight away. The following week after I'd done my course, finished my course, and I never taught kids in my life before, and I had very little, instruction from the people who were working there. They just said, here's the book, here's a list of students' names, here's the classroom, all right, get on with it. So I did, and I quite enjoyed it, even though the kids were unruly, noisy. There were big sliding windows at the back of the classroom, and the school was on the 10th floor, so you have your back to the board writing something, and before you know it, one of the kids has slid the window open and is sitting on the edge of the windowsill about to jump out, and all the classmates are screaming, and you're screaming, and you don't know what's going on. It's all in Spanish, which you don't speak any of because you've only been there for a month. That was interesting. So you quickly get to some techniques under your belt for managing a class of people, even if they're not necessarily the ones that you would find in a book or in a TEFL book or a teaching book. You've got to quickly develop some strategies for dealing with things like that. So yeah, I did that, and then Madrid, yeah, 2 years in Madrid. Great time, great times. Teaching, traveling around Spain, traveling around the area. Late nights, bars, concerts, meeting people, Spanish wine, Spanish girls. Yeah, really great time. And so after that, I thought, well, that's me done with my English teaching. Time to go home and get a new, a proper job in the UK. So I kind of went back. I thought, well, what can I do? What skills do I have? Not very many. The main one I've got now is kind of being all right at teaching and managing a classroom, and I know quite a lot about English now and the language and how it works. And it seems like there's quite a lot of people out there who want to know these things, and they kind of will pay for it. Maybe not very much, but they will pay you to know it. So I thought, oh, well, maybe I'll just carry on for a bit longer. Another 6 months. Yeah, sounds good. So I found another job in La Coruña, in Galicia, in the north of Spain. I moved there for 6 months. And I taught there for 6 months. Amazing place, incredible. Great people, great food, beautiful city. Weather, atrocious. I thought, Spain, oh yeah, it'll be like, postcard, it'll be like sunny every day, It wasn't, it was basically like the UK. It rained almost every day, gales, driving rain, but it was a great place, a great experience for 6 months. And again, all the other good things about it, food, wine, etc. Yeah, good times. But the job wasn't very great. It wasn't really all that. The money wasn't very good. It wasn't providing me with much career development opportunities. So I left after 6 months. I didn't renew my contract, and then I came back home to the UK, and thought, okay, maybe this time I'll find a proper job, and I don't know, in an office or something, or whatever. And I think at that time I did have a few interviews. I did some interviews for a wine distribution company and a couple of other things, I think, and they didn't go very well. I don't think my heart was really in that. So, I needed some money to survive, and I hadn't exactly saved up very much in Spain. So I thought, all right, what can I do now? Well, I'll go be a teacher again, get another teaching job. So I looked around online and found a job in Seville, at the British Institute of Seville. So I moved to Seville, southern Spain this time for work, and I stayed there for 2 years. And again, I had a great time, brilliant time. Beautiful city, surroundings, you know, the beaches, the mountains, amazing culture, incredible food, weather, had it all, and it would have been pretty easy probably to stay there, but yeah, it was a bit too comfortable probably. So I decided, no, I don't want to do that, and so came back home again. I thought, maybe I'll look for a job again. And then I thought, well, no, actually I quite like this job. I'm getting quite good at it. Had some good feedback from some students. They seem to like me. And I like language. I'm interested, always have been. I like reading. I'm interested in accents, dialects, history of language, where words come from, how they've developed over time, loan words in English and loan words from other languages into English. I've always been interested in things like that. So I thought, yeah, maybe I can just keep doing this. Yeah, why not? But I need to earn some more money. 800 euros a month, 1,000 euros a month. It's not good enough. It's not the most difficult job in the world. You're not the CEO of Microsoft, or you're not a rocket scientist. You're not working 80 hours a week or whatever. But it can be hard work. You've got all the marking to do, reports, the teaching itself, the preparation. I'd like to get paid reasonably well for that, if possible. So I found out about this place called the British Council, which I'd kind of always been vaguely aware of, because they're obviously probably the biggest name in English language teaching worldwide. They even do stuff like accredit other people's schools. So if you have a language school, you can get the British Council to come round and inspect you and get a certificate saying how great you are, according to the British Council. So they're a kind of a big deal, and they've been around for years and years. And they're in 70 countries or 80 countries or something. I mean, I should probably know that since I work there, but they're all over the place. And I thought, well, this is good, you know. These guys look like a serious outfit, maybe a bit too serious. But, you know, they pay pretty well compared to what I had been getting. So I went on their website, on their job site, to see what was around and what jobs they had going around the world. And it's pretty awesome when you get onto their job website, actually, because it's basically like if you like traveling and like sort of other cultures and other countries, it's like basically being in a sort of sweet shop or something. You just get a list of 50 different teaching jobs from all over the world, and it's incredible. If you feel like you can just choose whatever you want, you know, I'll have that one, I want that one, I'd like to live there, I'd like to move there, I want to know that country, you know. And if you've got a bit of experience behind you, which I had, then the likelihood of getting one of those jobs is reasonably high. So they had, you know, a job in Cairo, a job in Venezuela, a job in Chile, a job in, you know, like Senegal, a job in Vietnam, a job in Singapore. And I kept thinking, oh, well, any of these places would be pretty cool. But then I saw a bit further down the list when I got to the S. It's Seoul, South Korea. And for some reason that stuck. When I was going down the list of jobs, there it was, that stuck out. I think probably because when I was a bit younger, 13 or so, I went to an international school in Prague, and one of my best friends there was Korean. And I remember going round to his house a couple of times and meeting his parents and trying the food and having such a kind of amazing out there kind of cultural experience. I'd never had any Korean food before. I never really met any Korean people. I never heard the language. I didn't know what they were like, and I remember that having, you know, left a big impression on me. So when I saw that, it kind of rang a bell, you know. Oh wow, cool. And I knew that was a big market for English. There's a lot of people out there who want to learn English in Korea, and so I thought, well, this will be a good place to start. Well, not start because I'd already started in Spain, but it would be a good place to apply for. And also the money was pretty damn good. Compared to what I was earning in Spain, they were going to pay me about something like $3,500 a month or something like that. And they paid for your flight out there, and they paid for your flight back when you finished, and they put you up in a hotel when you get there, and they give you an accommodation allowance and you know, medical cover and all these types of things. And I was like, well, this is a kind of a proper job. Cool. You know, let's apply. So I did. I applied and filled out their long application form on their website, and didn't really expect to hear that much back, because I thought, well, you know, there's got to be hundreds of people out there. They've probably got more experience than me, and this looks like a really good job, and I'm sure there's lots of people applying for this, and they probably won't really be interested in me. But I was wrong. They got back to me in, you know, a couple of days later, a week later or something, and then they asked me to go for an interview. I had the interview, and that was a strange experience. It was a telephone interview with a couple of people who were, 3 people I think it was, you know, on the other side of the world, in Seoul. And, you know, you're on the phone in England, and the time difference is, what, 8 hours or something, 9 hours. It's a bit weird. But I must have done okay, because I got the job. And, you know, at the time I was fairly surprised. I kind of thought, oh, wow, okay, great. But obviously happy as well. And so it was on, and I started my preparations for going to Korea, and I think that was about September when they had the interview, or August perhaps. And the job wasn't due to start until November, and it takes that long to sort the visa out and things like that. You have to get a visa, a criminal background check, and all these kinds of things. So I had a bit of time to kill while I waited. And so I had my birthday in September, and I got lots of my friends around. We went to one of the Asian supermarkets in Bristol, and we bought some Korean stuff, some kimchi and some other Korean things, and we had a kind of barbecue at my place, and we tried all this Korean food no one had ever tried before. And I was kind of getting into the mood. I went to a Korean restaurant in Bristol to try some of the food there, because I never really had it except at my friend in Prague's house a long time ago. And yeah, so we're kind of starting to get myself in the mood for going out to Korea, and yeah, and that was all to come. So in my next video, I'll talk about the journey there and arriving and my first impressions in Korea, and my first sort of few weeks or few months in the job, and then probably in another video, possibly, I will talk about where I am now in KL and how I've kind of developed my career, and now that I'm kind of one of the sort of managers at the British Council, how I went from teaching perhaps to academic management, if anybody's interested. So I'll leave it there for now, okay? So please stick around, and hopefully I'll bring you another video fairly soon. Okay guys, so thanks for watching. Any questions, please put them down in the comments. Thanks, bye now.